The economy is booming, so why does your bank account feel like it's shrinking? There's a hidden force in the economy that doesn't show up in official data, but it quietly drives up your cost of living every single day.
Your wallet, it's telling a very different story. So let's use these slides and figure out why you might be feeling poorer, even when the country is supposedly getting richer. I mean, it's a super frustrating feeling, isn't it? You see the official data, you hear about record GDP growth, that's the total value of everything our country produces, and you think, great, the economy is booming. But for so many of us, our bank accounts, our savings, our monthly bills, they all seem to be screaming that we're actually falling behind. So what is really going on here? Well, the answer, according to a lot of economists, lies in something the official numbers just can't quite see. There's a huge parallel economy that's running in the shadows, right alongside the formal one we all live and work in. And its sheer scale is powerful enough to warp reality for everybody else. Okay, so to really get to the bottom of this, we've got to be clear on our main culprit here: black money. Now, this isn't just about illegal stuff or bribes you see in movies. At its core, black money is any wealth that exists outside the formal system, so any income that hasn't been taxed or assets that haven't been declared. It's all that untracked, unaccountable cash that's flowing just beneath the surface. And we are not talking about a small amount here, not even close. Government estimates suggest this shadow economy could be as big as 15, maybe even 20% of the entire nation's GDP. Just think about that for a second. That is a truly staggering amount of wealth operating completely off the books. This chart really gives you a sense of the scale we're dealing with. That big slice of the pie represents trillions of rupees flowing through the system, completely unaccounted for. And this isn't just some accounting problem. This hidden river of cash has very real, very powerful consequences for the formal economy. And, you guessed it, for your wallet. But here's the thing. This money doesn't just stay in the shadows forever. To actually be useful, it has to be spent, right? And that means it has to find a way back into the legitimate economy. This kicks off what's called a whitewashing cycle, a process that turns these hidden funds into clean, spendable assets. So let's break down exactly how that works. The process itself, often called money laundering, is kind of simple, which is what's so wild about it. It starts with a pile of untaxed cash. That cash is then used to buy something big, usually in a sector like real estate where cash deals are still pretty common. The person who sells that asset gets the payment, and for them, it's perfectly legitimate income. And just like that, poof, black money gets mixed into the formal system, and it comes out the other side as clean, taxable white money. And here is the absolute crucial point. This is where it hits you. This isn't just some clever trick that only affects the super rich. No. This cycle acts as a powerful engine for inflation, and it's an engine that is directly driving up your cost of living. This is the exact reason why an economic boom can end up making you feel poorer. This quote right here, it just nails the psychology of the whole problem. Think about it. If you've earned your money through hard work, you're pretty careful with it, right? But black money, from the owner's point of view, is basically free money. It comes with a super high tolerance for risk, which means people are willing to spend it recklessly, to overpay for things. Let's see this play out in the real world. Imagine you've saved up 15 lakh rupees to buy a small plot of land. That's what it's worth, its fair market value. You make your offer. But then, someone with a pile of untaxed cash comes along. To them, overpaying isn't a big deal. They just need to turn that cash into a real asset. So they offer 20 lakh. And just like that, they've outbid you. And the result is just devastating for the honest buyer. That land sells for 20 lakh, and suddenly that's the new price benchmark for the whole area. The entire market gets artificially inflated, not because of genuine healthy demand, but because a flood of unaccountable cash has totally distorted the price. You've just been priced out of the market. And this distortion doesn't just stop with land. It creates a massive ripple effect. Sure, housing becomes a dream you can no longer afford, but it also hits everyday things. If a wave of reckless spending hits the market for cars or electronics, guess what? Companies see that artificial demand and they raise prices for everyone. The end result? Your hard-earned savings buy less and less every single year. All of this leads to what we can call the Great Divergence. It really is a tale of two different economies. There's the one where official data paints this glowing picture of prosperity, and then there's the other one, the reality on the ground for most people, which is the complete opposite. Now, let's try to look at this from the government's perspective for a second. That 20-lot land sale, it generated a ton of tax revenue. All those extra consumer goods that were sold also generated taxes. So even though it's fueled by laundered money, this crazy spending spree makes the big economic numbers, GDP, consumer spending, tax collection, look absolutely fantastic. This table shows the disconnect in a nutshell. The official story, the one told through economic numbers, is all about strong growth and high spending. But your reality is one of shrinking savings, rising bills, and a tax burden that just feels heavier and heavier, all to support an economy that looks like it's booming, but feels like it's leaving you completely behind. So let's be super clear. The economy is growing, but a huge chunk of that growth is being captured by those operating inside this black to white money cycle. For everyone else, the main result of this so-called growth is just a higher cost of living. That's the great divergence. It's a boom for a select few, and it's paid for by the struggles of the many. So, after all of this, we have to ask the most important question of all. Who really pays the price for this shadow economy? Who's the one footing the bill for all this hidden inflation? It's you. It's the honest, salary taxpayer and the middle class. You are getting squeezed from one end by artificial inflation that makes everything from your rent to your groceries more expensive, and you're getting squeezed from the other end by a tax system that sees a booming economy on paper and thinks, hey, everything's great, no need to give anyone a break. Which brings us to our final and most critical question. When we see those headlines celebrating a rising GDP, we have to stop and ask, what is actually fueling that growth? If a big part of it is driven by a corrupt cycle that inflates prices and makes life fundamentally harder for the average person, can we really call that progress? It's a question we should all be thinking about.
This isn't just a problem in the shadows. It directly shapes the prices you pay in the real world. This isn't just about economics, it's about understanding why the system feels so disconnected from everyday life. If this made you rethink how the economy actually works, subscribe, because understanding the system is the first step to navigating it. And the next time you hear, the economy is booming, ask yourself, booming for who?